A lot of us think that no suffering and failure are the end all be all, and it kind of like takes over our minds and our lives. And in the failure, in pain and suffering is where you can actually find success. Like, you just have to figure out how to push through that and understand that there's something better. You just have to go through this situation that's going to make you stronger.
Right.
It's going to make you understand that you can't make those same mistakes again if you want to succeed in this space or in this opportunity or this activity. Because people see the building, people see the team, and they think, our community, when they see big, flashy, they say automatically, ahí están los ricos. And they don't understand that with this comes risk. With this comes a lot of sacrifice. With this comes less pay. Whoa,
dedication.
What? No way,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
A lot of discipline, a lot of dedication, a lot more work than we were doing before for a lot less change, in our pockets at least, right? Because now we're feeding other families, we're growing the team, we're investing a ton in them, and the return isn't quite there yet. We know it's coming. But a lot of folks just don't understand that dynamic of investments. When you're investing, you can't bleed the business. You have to keep cash in that business. So you have to maybe live off your salary or less, right? And in that pivot, in those moments, that's when you really understand the sacrifice it takes to really be a business owner, the sacrifice your family has to make, and the sacrifices everybody that's going in this journey with you have to take too. Appreciate y'all being here.
Yes.
Welcome to another episode of JBS's One Step Beyond Failure.
I love
right?
it.
Nice.
I love it. I've watched a couple of the episodes already. It's amazing what you guys are doing.
I appreciate that, in case Mike doesn't know what that is. And first of all, sorry, we have a couple amazing guests. I know if you're familiar of how things are in the area, if you're local, folks in the real estate world, these two folks. So
Thank you.
I'm really honored to have you guys here. If you could just kind of tell us your name, your little background, what you do, and we'll get started.
My name is Michael Santana. I've been in real estate for over 20 years. Right now, I'm actually playing the background in real estate on the
Yes.
team. I do some
Nice.
coaching and some mentoring. And other than that, I have businesses that I run with my wife. Will and I have a podcast, The Vibe You're In,
Yes, sir.
and we're honored to be here.
Amazing. Thank you.
Will Molina, realtor, part of the Olivares Molina team. I've been in real estate for over 18 years. It's been amazing for me. It's a journey that I enjoy. I love serving others, love serving people that want to progress in their real estate venture. And it's been great. Now we run a small, growing skincare line, which is run by Denise, and it's been amazing.
Amazing. See, I think I kind of heard about the skincare line.
Yeah.
I may be hearing it for the
look at
second
our
time. But
skins. I mean, we're glowing.
Well, don't go by mine right now. I just came from a construction site, and I had pink insulation all over me, so it adds to the paint.
100% don't check mine out. Right? Do not zoom in on my face.
We'll make a suggestion as far as how to keep your skin.
Yeah. I
Looking
swear
amazing.
on the black soap, it's amazing.
There you go.
I use
I
it
heard that, I think on one of the latest episodes, maybe 100 or 101, where you guys were plugging the product, and you both love the black soap.
The
So
black
I'm like,
soap, man, it's where
I
it's
was
at.
like,
It
what is
really
this black
is.
soap they're talking about?
I will
So,
send you the information.
Awesome. Thank you. Or I'll hit up Denise straight.
That's
straight.
it.
I'll go straight to the
Oh
source.
yeah,
Straight to the source.
she's
That could work,
unbelievable
too.
about that. No, it's been really amazing to see. Like everything else, when you have an idea and you work at it and then you see it come to life, it's just amazing.
Love that. And I think it's great to hear that not only will we talk about, your beginnings in real estate, but also now you have a little more seasoned in the childcare game and the event space, but the skincare business, how long ago did you start that?
So Denise and her partner Estefania, it was just a conversation, and it seemed like both of them had this idea. But we met Estefania as a client. Now we're great friends, and it was like everything else. When you talk to someone and you're like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" and someone says, "Man, I've been thinking about the same thing," and you put two and two together and you start that process and that journey. So I would say about right during the pandemic is when they started talking about it. You know, the skincare business is tough, but when you start building natural products and you believe in it, because that's really key. If you believe in what you do and what you sell, right, or the services that you provide, then you do it with grace. And so your product ends up that way. So it's been something that's been amazing. And I see it grow, and I use the product, which is great. It's in my house. I'm like, you know what? Great. So it's something that I feel that it will go above and beyond, and they're passionate about it. Once you're passionate about it, or you're passionate about something, it's amazing what you see at the end.
That's it. And I think that's something, the synergies that we've had in the past, not only because we know each other from like family, people
Yes,
that we know in common.
Yep.
It's on the business side, it's more of, we think of the people as sometimes like family, which sometimes we blur lines sometimes,
Yep.
but we really do think that if we do right by them, the money rolls back around, right? A lot of folks think money first and push out products and push all these different things that sometimes the client doesn't need, but you need to make ends meet, and you just want to push that on folks. And
Sure.
when you think about it, the flip side, on the other side, you say, listen, I'm about service, I'm about the people. I want to make sure that they're enriched when they come out of this, this meeting. I don't want to put them in a house that they can't afford. I don't want to put them
Absolutely.
in a house that is not a great house for them to grow their growing families. The referrals come in.
Yep.
People come back. When people need to sell their home, now they're going to you. For us,
it's the stories.
Yeah,
It's really the
yeah,
stories.
100%.
People tell their story and their experiences of what it was like. And so how do you gain that referral business in any business, right? Any business that has come here or will come here into this podcast, it's how passionate were you with that interaction? You know, we feel that real estate is a big, big decision, right? It's a lot of money at stake, and you just can't buy a house and return like a pair of pants the next day. So we got to make sure that we know what you want, what you can do, so that we can combine that, and then there's success after that. If there's success and you're happy, the first thing you're going to do is, hey, if you're going to buy a house, you have to call this team. And I think that's the gist of it. And, for successful realtors, that's the blueprint. You have to be entrenched in almost like a family. It's like, hey, you're my family. We're going to work through this together. It's an experience that for people, it's a nervous situation. It's a big, big decision. But if you do it right, it's amazing how much of that comes back to you.
Yeah. So, I love that you said stories, because to be honest, one step beyond failure, it's really the story of entrepreneurship. Big, small, mid-sized businesses. It's just telling the folks and that are listening in where you started, what have you done to gain some success, and where do you want to go, right? Because a lot of folks think that, all right, you have all these clients, you have this success, are you happy? And for most entrepreneurs, it's no. It's go, go, go. It's, you just came from a construction site that makes your face look a little pink. That's fine. We've got some skin care. We have this podcast now that we just decided to do on a whim. We're always on the go and always thinking about innovation and new things to do. For you, Mike, what keeps you going, right? In three completely different areas, and now taking a step back and being behind the scenes in real estate. How has that fit, with your new routine and life?
Well, with me, first of all, I believe 100% that this is all a video game. And I know everybody's saying it nowadays, but I've been saying it since forever. And I believe that more and more every single day. So how do I play my game? How do I do that? And it's by staying disciplined. So I get up every morning. I make sure that I'm disciplined, that my vision is first, my goals are first. And everything that I do throughout the day has to do with, it lines up with that goal for me. If it doesn't line up with that goal, it's distracting me or it's wasting my time.
That's it.
And if I see someone else that's in that position being distracted, I say, hey, listen, what is it that you want out of life? What are you doing today? Because a lot of people, if you look at, like right now, like I don't even want to go on social media. I haven't been on social media like I used to in a year.
Yeah, wow.
But when I go on social media, I see our own friends it's a big divide because they're busy being distracted by what? Politics, religion, and all the things that they told us, the ancients told us. Don't talk politics with your friends. Don't talk religion with your friends. Don't, these are all distractions. That's what it's meant to be. So to answer your question is that the way I stay disciplined is by making sure that my vision is first, because that's the game that I'm personally playing. And part of that vision is what we were talking about earlier, which is service to people. If you're doing what you do best and you love to do, and that vibration that you bring forth to the people that you're serving, it emanates out. And then they say, go, you got to go to Toby. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's a good guy. He's honest. He's gonna get you to where you want to go in the most simplest path, the effortless way. But if we're out, like you're saying, if I know there's a defect in the house and I'm hiding it, I'm not the one that's going to live in the house, but I have to act like I'm the one that's living in that house. Would I want to go in this house and bring my family here, knowing that there's something wrong? So that people notice that stuff.
Yeah. And I think experience speaks to a lot. You know, even if you don't have experience, I think just owning your job, owning your business, understanding that you have to get better with time or get better from the beginning, right? Read. Ask folks that know more than you how to play this game. Because I remember I didn't want to buy my first house. And I called the first person that I thought I could trust and that, you know, would lead me to the right place. And that was Will and Denise. And,
thank you.
You know,
Good choice.
pretty good, right? Not too bad. And, you know, when we're going through these, you know, feelings and going through the motions, my wife is pregnant. It's the pandemic, not a lot of open houses. People are afraid. People are on unemployment, which actually helped for me because I got lucky. Rates went down.
You bought when there was less buyers because of the situation we were in.
Exactly.
It wasn't necessarily that the buyers weren't interested in buying. Yep. It was just that there was a shutdown, right? And it took some time for some businesses and some professions to be considered essential. And here you are, you know, you're in a situation where now there's less people and you had an opportunity, which is great. It's
yeah,
a good thing.
We were able to take advantage of that, right? But the biggest piece was I tend to jump the gun, right? I'm faster to make decisions. My wife is an overthinker. So we're on two extremes. We're working, you know, personal and professional development,
That's
reading
awesome.
books and learning how to meet in the middle more. But having both of you in there to kind of keep me off the ledge, push her to the ledge was super helpful. But also understanding, like, you know, when you walk into a basement, as you can see, there's history of flooding here. And I'm like, I saw nothing, bro. This house is beautiful. What are you talking about? I want to sign right now. But someone there that says, like, no, your house will be somewhere down the road. This isn't it. Trust me. And me having that trust in them and saying, like, okay, fine, if you say so. Because to my naked eye, I'm saying, I see nothing. This is not my world. But all I see is a beautiful backyard, a beautiful house, and a house that I could raise this child in.
Right.
But you pumping the brakes and saying, not so fast, buddy. This is what I do, right? So that was very, very helpful. And we were able to kind of quickly, a week or so later, find that house that was really a good fit for us. That we live in till this
we've
day.
talked about this before. Home is a feeling, right? It's a feeling that comes out of there. I'm not going to be able to captivate that feeling because it's your personal space. But if I could put you in a position as a client to get that feeling while I'm looking for things that you're not going to look at, then I can combine that and, you know, give you a sense, hey, this is what I'm seeing, right? These are the things that you may want to consider, or these are the pitfalls or the situations or the game plan you're going to have financially based on what you're seeing here. But ultimately, I always find that when people make a decision on a house, particularly the one they're going to live to, because the investment side is totally different. It's all about the numbers there. It's a feeling. It's a feeling. It's like there's something that feels right about this place, and it provides the comfort and the tranquility that I'm going to find with my family. And so sometimes that gets blurred when you don't have someone that guides you, right? A guide that says, whoa, wait a minute. What about this roof? There's a leak here. There's this there. Let's think about this for a minute and see what you can and cannot do, because, of course, it's a financial decision. What can you, in your capacity, do? Because there's going to be some things down the line that may need to be taken care of right away.
I'm interested to see what's going to happen with folks that, found services and folks, I call them the real estate or the realtors of the pandemic, that came in just because it was hot and are already, they're not in the business, right? And curious to see just how many people are the fallout of that, of the people that have to, let go of their homes or can't afford it, or, the house just wasn't what they thought it would be in the future. Because I'm a numbers person. So I'm seeing these numbers, and my due diligence, and I'm not a financial advisor, is to say, like, if it were me, I wouldn't do this because of X, Y, Z, right? And of course, most folks said, no, it's fine because my realtor told me it's fine. And I'm like, I think you should look at the numbers again. Because if you come here to me because your realtor says you need to amend your taxes, right? to show 80K profit for Uber.
Yeah,
it's like,
for,
you know,
for
that
a
really wasn't the
self-employed
net.
person, right?
That wasn't your net. So that's not really what comes to your household. And your wife doesn't work. And this is a 3-family. And if something happens to one of your tenants, can you pay this mortgage, right? If there is a leak, can you fix that and have enough to take care of your family and exist? I saw that a ton, and forced people that were just forcing the game, right? And again, having folks like myself telling them, I don't think this is a good idea. I think you should rethink it. Just go back to the table, maybe downsize, maybe wait a year. It didn't work. The advice was just not hitting for some folks.
It's interesting because some people are still at this point, right? There's a lot of people who want to be homeowners. I think historically, as an association, the National Association of Realtors, and along with the local associations, we push the agenda of homeownership, the importance of it. We're already here. Everyone wants to own their own home.
For sure.
Now, the question then becomes, as a savvy person, is it the right time for you? You're going to know when it's the right time, but you also have to think about, well, how much capacity financially do I have? Because I feel like it's right, but can I do it? And I've seen people say, hey, Will, we're going to push this to the side for a minute. This is the plan. And tell me what your plan is. You know, I'm able to save a little more. I'm going to pay down some debt. I'm going to rework some things that's going to help us be able to make that decision. Because when the decision's made is when you're ready. If you're not ready now, it's okay. Don't feel like you have to be pushed, you know, because I think that's the biggest issue. You talk about that people may have gotten themselves into situations that they shouldn't. It's because someone pushed them, right? Because it's an emotional thing. You can easily convince someone to do something when they're emotionally connected to something. And so that's when you pump the brakes as a realtor, right? Or as an advisor in the tax profession, you know, in any of our professions, whether it's attorney, lender. Let's look at this for a minute. If you're not ready now, let's figure out when.
Yeah, and it's our duty, our responsibility, right? When you say vision, when you say the discipline that you have, you should always keep those things in mind when you speak to folks, and always lead with the best intent, right? Making sure you're looking out for folks, because again, these are our people. We're from this community. We still live and work in these communities, and sadly, I think it's a lot of folks will be affected in the next few years. You know, hopefully not, right?
And
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and it's trusting the true professionals, because things go in circles. So when you're telling them, it's not because it's happening now for the first time. It's happened before, you know, and before that, and before that. Yeah. So you got to tell them, again, stories that you've seen and experienced before. This is where you're headed. And then the sad thing is that if you make it easy for somebody to do something that they shouldn't be doing, they're going to take the easy road every single time, depending on their own integrity. But people do that. We remember that the last fallout that we had, which was '08 or whatever. People were buying homes that shouldn't have bought homes, but they were coming in saying, no, but because mi tío is going to come on board and my aunt is coming from home, they're going to pay rent with me, they're going to help me out. And then at the end of the day, those people weren't there. And that's what we saw.
And they were affected really hard. Yeah. You know, some of those people are coming out now, and they're able to get back into the homeownership world. But it took them a while because they were impacted credit-wise or whatever the situation was, because they got themselves in situations where it felt right, but no one was there to say, did you really look at this? Do you understand how this works? And the more you do that in our world, the more success people have in home ownership. The more success someone has in home ownership, the more they're going to trust you to say, hey, here's my cousin, here's my boss, here's that. And really, that's our business. Our business is built on referrals. Yours is as well. If you do right by someone, it's like you are their GOD. Like they're like, oh no, you have to. And then, you know, in our community, it's great because they're like, no, I'm going to call him right now.
Licenciado. I was like, no. Yo no soy licenciado.
But it's a beautiful thing, is because there's something that they felt that they probably didn't even know they can do. You know, a lot of people say, I could never think that I'd be a homeowner. I was at a closing yesterday, and a gentleman, you know, I was representing the seller, but I can hear him saying things like, yo no sé cómo pagarte para atrás. I don't know how to pay you back for what you've done. And all I said to him was like, you know what? It's a team effort. It's a collaborative. I was told you needed a little more time to close. Because you're working with a professional in the lending field that I know and trust and gets the job done, then it's easier for me to say, how much time do you need? Well, we need another month. Okay, let me explain that to the seller. But it's a collaborative. And so that gentleman's story, right, he's always going to remember that. He's like, those people there did what they were supposed to do for me to be able to get this house. And that's what keeps me going. It's the stories. It's the feeling. It's the gratitude that people have when it's all done. You know, and there's papers assigned, keys are given. It's the gratitude that really keeps me going. Because some transactions are tough, but you know what? You deal with it. And those stories are the ones that I wake up every day and say, I know what I do and I love what I do and I'll continue to do it.
Yeah, it's beautiful to hear the collaborative spirit and teamwork aspect that you were talking about. It's less evident locally for tax and accounting firms to work together. We try our best to say there is no competition. Beautiful space, you know, Michael, we were just showing you around, great space. We could fit a ton of people in here. I have no want or need to have all of Lawrence, all of the Merrimack Valley in this office. I can't do it physically. I can't. So I'm only one person. So there is no competition, but people feel that. And I think the quicker we get to the point where it's like, no, we need to understand that we need to help each other, help each other's clients to do better. Maybe have an association, maybe just at least, you know, have these podcasts together as accountants or tax preparers. I think you're moving a little closer or faster in that area, like collaborating. And I'd like to see that in our space because there's an opportunity there to really weed out the bad offices that are doing things that at the end, maybe you refer someone to me because their taxes are done incorrectly and I have to fix that and it's going to cost them even more money and heartache and maybe cost them a house because it's going to take too long to process those returns and blah, blah, blah. So it's nice to hear that collaborative spirit because here, you know, we have the mantra of one team, one dream.
That's awesome.
Right? If we, you know, the sales folks usually are, you know, historically at JBS, we were put up on an altar because, you know, Alex and I were the salespeople. So we put ourselves on an altar and we're like, nothing can be done without us. Right. And that's not the reality because I'm not sending out these returns. Annie sends out, and Annie and her compliance team send out returns. They're the ones that catch things that I might not have caught in the heat of the moment.
It's
right.
a team effort.
And it's a team effort. Right. We back office usually gets a bad rap because they don't bring in revenue, but you can see that mark in payroll every month. But you cannot scale and grow without that, right? So, you know, pivoting now to Michael and his business, when you started, you know, you and your wife started the childcare and the event space business, how did that come about? You know, was it from need? Was it because, you know, there was an opportunity just to purchase this business?
Well, I'll give you the short story. We owned a brokerage, a real estate brokerage, and my wife went and I said she went like she went by herself. My wife got pregnant, and
how dare she? She went by herself.
How dare she?
She went and got pregnant.
Michael, how'd you figure that out?
And then when she was out on leave, she decided that she wasn't going to come back to real estate. So the problem with that was that she was not only the top producer in the office, she was also the admin. She was wearing all the hats.
What a pivot!
So it was going to be a blow. So I was like, all right, so how is this going to happen? And we support each other 100%. So I said, whatever it is that you want to do, we'll make that happen. And I trust God takes care of us no matter what. And she decided that she wanted to open up a child's event space, meaning private parties for children. I said, okay, we've never done that in our lives. But then we ended up getting a space. It took half a year to find one. We finally did open that up. It's Froggy's Party Pad. We ended up with that. That was 2012 into 2013. And that wasn't sustainable at the moment. The prices were very low. Now listen to this. The prices were very low. It was like $180, $160 for a party. And people were still complaining. So that didn't work out. And what we did was we put one room inside that party pad, and it became a daycare room for daycare. That room expanded and took over the whole space, and it became Froggy's Play School. After that, we reopened the party pad, and that was in Haverhill, Massachusetts. We reopened the party pad in Salem, New Hampshire, and we moved to Salem. We've been there. This is our 8th year. And we opened the party pad up. This time, it was much better. The parties are 10 times what we used to charge. Nobody's complaining, right? So it's all about who you're attracting as a client. That's very important to understand. After that, we expanded on the daycare space, learned more about that, learned more about the venue space. The party pad turned into the enchantment room in the back, from there, we ended up taking downstairs this is where the old, what is it? It used to be there, the furniture
store?
world.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
So
then the
we have
bike,
a
the
third
bike
of
shop
building,
downstairs.
the bike shop left, the flower shop left. So that turned into the enchantment room, which is weddings and baby showers and
Beautiful space, yeah.
Yeah, and then so we're upstairs with now the white room, the enchantment room is downstairs, and we have the party pad upstairs, and then we have the daycare centers. So that's really where we're at, and it gives us the capability to do everything that we want to do. The podcast, newsletters, focus groups to help people out, because that's really my passion, is to make, to help people. So the same thing, discipline that I have, I want to see other people wake up and say, this is what I want to do with my life, rather than just let life happen. Live your life, because we don't know when our last breath is. So
that's impressive. I love that. And there's a few things there that we can kind of break down, but when you mentioned, that she got pregnant on her own, apparently.
Virgin birth.
Second coming of the Virgin Mary. Thank you. You mentioned that she said, I don't think I want to come back to real estate. And she was wearing a few hats, right? So not only was that a blow to the business, but also, at home, how are we going to bring in this income? And that idea came about. We're talking about different pivots, right? And when one thing didn't work, you didn't quit. You pushed through, right? Because a lot of us think that no suffering and failure are the end all be all, and it kind of like takes over our minds and our lives. And in the failure, in pain and suffering is where you can actually find success. Like, you just have to figure out how to push through that and understand that there's something better. You just have to go through this situation that's going to make you stronger.
Right.
It's going to make you understand that you can't make those same mistakes again if you want to succeed in this space or in this opportunity or this activity that you're doing. So, the mindset of an entrepreneur, sometimes we're a little hard-headed. Sometimes we're
controlling.
a little controlling.
Yep.
Sometimes we are cynics, right? But most times we are dreamers, right? And we understand that, no, we can make this happen. This was just a little hiccup, even if it was a huge hiccup, right? So we kind of have a mindset that's a little bit different than most folks, where some folks will retreat and kind of say, like, this is not for me, and which is a great thing. Another thing that I try to tell folks is, like, it's not for everybody. Owning a business, owning a home, sometimes it's just not for everyone, right? Because if you're not set up for success in those spaces, or if you don't have the mindset of an entrepreneur or a business owner, it can do a lot of damage. It can break homes. It can kind of make you retreat instead of kind of uplifting you. So, you spoke about the different pivots, right? First, she got pregnant. There was a need. There's, kind of like when Viv was pregnant, she said, what if we bought? And I said, absolutely not. We're in the lofts. I'm cool. I don't want to spend money. I don't want to mow the lawn. I don't want to do anything. And then 3 months later, I'm mowing the lawn.
Yeah, I know.
So, it's you have to pivot when opportunities come up, when frustrations come up, when you have to make a move. And I think that you mentioned 4 or 5 just in that small a message you told us, and I appreciate that, because now, in our biggest moment, quote unquote, because people see the building, people see the team, and they think, our community, when they see big, flashy, they say automatically, "Ahí están los ricos," and they don't understand that with this comes risk, with this comes a lot of sacrifice, with this comes less pay. Whoa,
Dedication.
What? No way, right?
Yeah.
A lot of discipline, a lot of dedication, a lot more work than we were doing before for a lot less change, in our pockets at least, right? Because now we're feeding other families, we're growing the team, we're investing a ton in them, and the return isn't quite there yet. We know it's coming, but a lot of folks just don't understand that dynamic of investments. When you're investing, you can't bleed the business. You have to keep cash in that business, so you have to maybe live off your salary or less, right? And in that pivot, in those moments, that's when you really understand the sacrifice it takes to really be a business owner, the sacrifice your family has to make, and the sacrifices everybody that's going in this journey with you have to take too.
I think you have to trust yourself, right? So in Michael's example, which is an example of many entrepreneurs, immediately when his wife said, "Hey, this is what I want to do," there was a trust. And I'm sure deep down inside, Michael's like, what am I doing, right? What am I saying? Because sometimes something comes out and you're not comfortable with it inside. But the fact that that's his wife and he realized, you know what, if that's what she wants to do, I'm going to go full steam ahead, and I'm going to support her however I can. It's the trust, right? And knowing that that person next to you is not going to fail because you're going to give them the ability and the strength for them to be curious of what they want to do. Because entrepreneurship is being curious, right? You're curious about something that's burning inside that you say, there's something that I want to do. I may not get the support from people, and I've got to be able to kind of put this in a box and work at it. But it's the curiosity of like, well, what if? What if I take this chance? What if I let go of this job? What if I do this? And the beauty of it is seeing those visions come to life because it was a lot of work. The fear was in the background saying, hey, you're going to fail, you're going to fail. But you're like, and if I fail, what do? I learn from it and I move on. So it's a beautiful story. And a lot of great people that started their businesses during the shutdown, the stories are amazing because there was a lot of people who knew they wanted to do something. And that was the moment. They're sitting there saying, maybe I should do it now. And they did. And there's a lot of great successes along the way.
It's funny. It's funny what the fear of death will do for you, right? That was during the shutdown. And I want to be clear too. What made the decision easy to say, I back my wife 100% and she backs me 100%. That's the beauty of our relationship. And I'm grateful for that 100%.
That's awesome.
But what made it easier was that she always showed it. So people understand your vision. What are you following? Your gut feeling. It's not that you're going to inventar. You're going to go and do something crazy.
Wait.
Oh, I want to open up a plátano stand on the corner of Essex. No, I'm not supporting that because I've never seen you have interest in plátanos. She always was interested in parties, and we know it goes way back when we were dating. She wanted to be a DJ, believe it or not. So, even back then,
she has a DJ name, which I may not unveil.
Yeah. So, I have a music background. So she came when we were dating. She was like, what do I do? How do I get equipment? But I'm like, oh, this is crazy. This girl really wants to do this. So she used to throw parties in her finished basement, right?
Yeah.
So that helped because I knew that it wasn't a crazy idea. Like this girl's pregnant, maybe it's the hormones. No, this is who she is, and I believed that she could do it. So that belief that I had to back up her belief was important. It wasn't that I just said, oh yeah, go ahead and do what you want. I want to make that clear before anybody goes out and says, hey, they did it, we'll do it too.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That was important. The other part was that we did have a thriving real estate. So even when she left, I trusted that things would be fine. And I would talk to my agents the same way we talk to the team now, which is something you spoke on earlier, which is you're not going to sell every house, all right, in the Merrimack Valley or in southern New Hampshire. Focus on a number that you want to sell this year, and that's your vision that you're going to get up and follow every day until you hit that number. That's how you become a top producer. It's not like I'm going to go out and sell every house and sell everybody that I see. That was important to understand. And so with that going back, back to back, her vision and us already having a vision that we were working on, we combined it and ended up where we are today. So I want everybody to be clear on that because, then people listening like, oh my God, if he did that, then I'm going to go do
I'm leaving my job tomorrow.
I'm doing something crazy.
And I'm doing it all.
Yes.
And the second part of that is what you said also, that don't think that it's all fun and games because when people see you, hey, how are you? No bien como tú. It's not like what they really see on the outside and in the forefront. It's what's going on in the background, and there's always pressure. Always. It's, can you take the pressure? What do you do with that pressure? If you're getting up every single day and you're disciplined and you're focused on your vision, then your trust in your vision is what's going to get you to the next step. If the pressure gets to you and there's any kind of doubt, if there's anything that's taking your mind and your attention off of that vision, that's what's going to make you crack.
Right.
So the thing that gets you through that point of failure is remembering that it's the last blow that splits the rock. You have to keep going and going and going. Just when you think that you can't, it cracks open and oh my God, now you're next to the next until it happens again.
That's where the being hard-headed comes in. It's like, I believe, I'm trusting my vision, I have the discipline. This is just, a little hiccup.
Right.
And continuing.
Which is different from plans and strategies. Your plans and your strategies will change, but your vision does not change. Yep. You just might get sidetracked for a second until you have to go through this lesson 100%. Over here so you can get back on track 100%. To your vision. But your goal doesn't change. Your vision does not change.
Yeah, and for us, right, we weren't always in the accounting space officially, right? We had a few folks that we would do some QuickBooks Desktop work because they were grandfathered clients. We've been dealing with them forever. They, when they were just doing their individual taxes, they were like, I don't trust anybody else. I need your help with this. Lewis, who has his own firm now, started doing that. I came along and started helping him. Then we did payroll. It was kind of grassroots and only, for necessary clients, right? The Columbia gas explosion, then the pandemic provided this unique opportunity to help people in need now. It wasn't just, we're going to help you because you asked me, and I'm only going to help you out because I'm your friend. It was more of, a lot of our people are not prepared for what's to come or for, the unexpected. And when the Columbia gas explosions, we saw all the bodegas, all the boutiques, all the small businesses suffer and did not get their due justice because they did not have their financials in order. And that provided an opportunity to say, like, we are not just going to be a tax firm. And even from that point, that was 2019, we still really didn't officially, do anything until mid 2020, because then there was another need. And we needed to help folks with EIDL and all these SBA loans and all these different things. And we had to shift the strategy and say, we have to become an accounting and tax firm. And that decision was not based on cash again, right? Because a lot of people that's the driving force, unfortunately, sometimes. What it was a need in the community. And we said, if not us, then who, right? Because a lot of folks won't do it if somebody else tells them to do it. But if somebody from the community, people they've been trusting for 10, 20 years, they'll understand the need for it, because I can talk to you in your terms, right? I can speak your language and tell you, bro, this is why you are not able to open up that second store. This is why the banks, even though you have $500,000 in cash, won't lend you anything to buy your home.
Because of this situation.
Right? Because of this situation, because you're afraid of paying taxes, because you're afraid of doing these things that, you just didn't know any better, right? No one taught you how to play this game. And I love that you were saying earlier, it's a game, right? I look at it as a game, and you just have to make sure that at the end of it, you don't hear that little noise, do, right?
Which we all are eventually.
We all will.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. Don't do it earlier.
Yeah, let's have fun while that's happening. But you mentioned something, that the pivot that took place, right, based on the need of the community, the vision was the same. The vision was what who we are as a company and how we serve our community, so that they can be better people about what they do, because they can grow a lot more if we know the necessary tools and the laws that can be applied for the situation at hand. You guys didn't have to do that, but your vision stayed the same. Yep. We are going to serve the community and educate.
Yep.
And when all these things come, we don't know what the next thing is. You're prepared because your vision is the same.
And we weren't fully ready for it, but the vision kept us on course, right? Because, of course, I'm not an accountant. Alex isn't an accountant. Rob studied accounting, but then he left that to study finance. So we started assembling a team. He graduated college with one of his best friends. He's a CPA. His brother-in-law has been doing international taxes for about 15 years. He came onto the team. We have a team then, 2, now 9 in Colombia that does a lot of the data entry and a lot of the, they handle a lot of the data for us. And they're A+ team, right? And it's also understanding, like, I need to get better. Alex needs to get better. We need to hit the books. We need to understand that this is a completely new business now, and we have to stay the course with our mission, but understand that the people that we were in 2005 for him, when I started in 2014, we're not the same people, and we're not going to be the same people in 2025. And how do we scale? How do we get to that point? The first thing was humility. The first thing was looking at the team and saying, who's ready for this ride, and being raw with each other and saying, we're 6 owners, and if we don't have, the same vision, this won't work, right? This is going to end up badly. So let's talk about this, right? We'll cut up all the contracts, and if you want to go on your own way and open up a shop right across the street, we'll do that. But if you're going to say that you want to stay here and it's not true,
that's going to show right away.
This is going to show right away, and it's going to be a problem. And we don't want that, right? We were family, So that's exactly what we did. We sat on the table and we said, we are not the same, right? Things have shifted. And if we want to continue being the old school JBS, we need to take a vote. The 3 people that are still here are still here. The 3 other folks have their own firms, right? And they're doing well, thankfully. But that vision, that schism in the vision caused some issues for about 6 months. until we said, all right, tax season is over. We can breathe. Instead of just taking vacations, let's talk about what's going to happen next year, because this felt weird.
Those are the growth spurts in a business, right?
Yeah.
We all go through it where there's those challenges. We went through one, Denise and I got to give a big shout out to her, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. We went through an experience where we were broker owners, right? We were in a partnership where the partnership went a different way. We had a different vision as far as where our business was going and how we were going to excel and be able to serve in a better capacity to the upcoming people that are coming in, buying, the millennials, all these things that were happening with social media and everything that was being communicated. This is where we need to go. And so that was a conflict, right? And eventually, Michael was a broker at the time as well. So we were partners in this small partnership, and we had to make decisions. Michael made a decision. It was a decision that he felt was the right thing for him and his family. Then we came along, and it's been a journey, and no one saw that, right? No one out there sees it. They just see one thing. Oh, these people are doing well, but they don't really understand the ins and outs of what it's like to pivot and realize, you know what, I'm going to have to shift. I know what my vision is. I know what I want to do as a person and as an entrepreneur, but I don't have the backing of the people that I trusted. Yeah. And I've got to make a move now. And it was brutal, but we did. And now 4 years later, we're in a better place, in a better space. We have a growing team. We're a team of 8 now. And it's a team of professionals. It's a team of people that support each other. I trust the process. If I'm away, I know I can trust Michael. I can trust Billy. I can trust Rod, Christina, Johnny, who you know very well, who's an amazing guy, my family, and my daughter, who's now licensed. It's a space that I've created, and we've all created. I can't take credit for it. Particularly, I got to give credit to Denise as well, because she's the vision of our business. But it's a space that we've created that I know and trust based on a vision. And so I'm glad that we're there. And, same thing. You said to yourself, hey, guys, this is where it's at. This is what we want to do. If you're not with that, we're good. Like, it wasn't a thing where I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I wish it was like that with what we did, because we thought one way and we quickly realized when the shit hit the fan that it wasn't like that. So it took a lot to get out of it, but we kept the vision. What do? Well, we serve people. We make sure that people are successful when they come to us about real estate.
Yeah, that was it was interesting when we had that split too, because first of all, I was never in partnership with anyone before JBS. It happened very quickly. A lot of things happened in 2020. So I bought my house. I purchased stock in JBS. We purchased this building end of 2020. So it was a crazy, crazy year.
Those are the good years, when everything happens in 1 year, and then you look back and you're like, I survived that?
How, Sway?
Yeah, it's awesome.
And it worked, right?
Yeah.
And then fast forward a year or two, when now we're having this issues internally of this break in the values and vision, and saying, okay, so do we move JBS back to the small shop and rent this out to a bank, to whatever? And, 3 of us were like, absolutely not. We bought this with the intent to grow and bring more clients in, to now showcase this other side of JBS, the financial or the accounting side. And so absolutely not, right? And then we had the other side that said, I really was wanting to do this to be able to, get my K1, to get a nice income from it. And we were like, you will get that, but it takes time. We have to grow this now. We have to pay some mortgage. We have utilities. We have more employees. Then we could kind of sit back and let the team, do its thing. So it was very interesting. I think now, thankfully, we had 2 rough years, right? Going back to the perception versus the reality. And this past year was our greatest off season ever, right? Tax was always 100% of our business. Now we're at about 60-40 tax and accounting. And Alex and I have never been busier in off season, right? We're talking to clients, we're bringing them in to beat the team, we're onboarding them, we're making sure that they're furnishing books every month, we're sitting down with them and analyzing their books with them. Completely different business. And again, happier than ever. And that K1, we're paying taxes on it, because that's how taxes work when you're an S corp. but we're not seeing that money because we're reinvesting. And, you know, it took some time for us to understand who we were. It's taking a little bit of effort now because we have to rethink our values. We have to rethink our vision again and shift it a bit. We have these 3 big signs in our kitchen that kind of reminds us when we're eating in family and in a group setting that this is who we are. This is the values that we hold, and this is where we want to go. But we have to shift those. So I think for you, you know, visions weren't aligning. You fix that, but there might be another time where the vision has to shift a little bit, or it has to be reworded, or the values have to shift. Because for us, just to kind of tell you where we're at now, we kind of spoke about it on our 2nd or 3rd episode, where you know, we had an episode with someone, they couldn't make it, and we decided let's just sit together in, you know, in the event space.
Those are always the good episodes.
Those are
because
fun.
They're fun. You're just sitting there, you're talking, and it's not scripted at all. Yeah, it's candid.
You know, and we're just having a conversation about how do we feel right now at this moment. And Rob kind of, he likes to do this. He kind of bombarded us with this like idea of like, how do you feel about our vision? And, you know, the mission I think is fine, but the vision and the values that we have plastered all over our walls and our socials and our website. And we're like, I mean, it's who we are.
Right.
JBS Familia, you know, one team, one dream. And he's like, I think it's time to make a shift. And if I could, dive into it with you, let me know how you feel. And his idea of the Familia piece, he feels might have to shift, right, to something else, maybe just team or you know, JBS crew, because, you know, we're not just family members here anymore, right? I think we're the minority now.
Got it.
And, you know, we don't have this set in stone or in black and white, but we feel that other people don't feel as if they're part of the team if they're not family, right? And shifting that mindset. And even if you tell people until you're blue in the face, like, yo, this is the group, this is the crew, you're JBS Familia. It's like, yeah, but Alex is really your family. His wife is really his wife. I'm just a team member that's remote. I can't feel you. I can't see you all the time. So, you know, it's been interesting.
But that's shifting based on the structure that's being created, right? It's not necessarily, there's still a foundation there
100%.
That's going to stay the same.
100%.
It's just, you know, when Michael opens up a 3rd establishment, a 4th, there's going to be a time where he's going to have to sit with his team and say, okay, this is where we're headed, and this is the reason why, and how do you feel about it? Because it really is an effort. Some of the ideas that come out of entrepreneurship when you build teams around it is fascinating because you're like, I thought about that, but I may have been too afraid to say it.
100%.
But someone says it, and you're like, man, it's almost like a relief. It's like, I heard it. I've been thinking about it. It's been inside. I just haven't been able to either, you know, put it together so someone understands what I'm saying, but at least someone out there is thinking the same way I am. And that's when those things grow. That's when you see these companies go, whoop, they just grow. And irregardless of what you see outside, we know. There's this, there's that, there's conflict, there's unity because everyone understands why we're here and where we want to go and what is it going to take. Am I going to be upset one day? Yes. Am I going to be pissed? Am I going to be in a situation where I don't want to wake up the next day? All those things are true emotions, but the emotions are there because they're important to you when you want to grow. Aside from the fear factor, which we all have. There's that little piece in the back somewhere in our body that says, you really want to do that? But then you say, well, wait a minute, I do, because here I am. This is what I want to do. I see myself this way, and I've always done it this way. Okay, maybe it's not the right way, but I'm still going to continue to go forward. And in our show, I talk about baby steps. It's not that the next day you're going to be like, da-da-da, I know what I'm doing. It's the curiosity of an entrepreneur, understanding that every day is a different day, and every day is a day of learning. So that your business grows.
And making sure that you're taking care of an issue that arises, right? He brought up a point where he's saying, I think this might be an issue. It's not the intent. The intent has always been that we want to feel like we're all included in this thing of ours. It's more of but they have to also see that they're included in this. And just plastering family everywhere might not be the right language, right? So shifting the language, keeping the intent, the sentiment, keeping everything in there, making sure that our EQ levels are fine, like we understand and keep a pulse on people, understanding that we have not only external clients, but we are the internal clients, right? The employees drive from inside out. And just being honest, I think we've been very, very transparent, which a lot of companies aren't always with employees. We show financials, not everything, but we show financials and we say, this is the state of the company. This is how things are going. These are our frustrations. This is how we feel as partners. What do you think? And we've seen the transition from 2 years to now where people were having the fear of speaking out. We still have that a little bit. And now we see people like just,
well, if you can
I was thinking this.
If you can shift out of the taboo that's always been the boss is the boss and everyone
Right.
knows the employees and I can't say a word. If that shifted where you as the leader, right, because we lead with an understanding that we're learning too, and we want other people to grow. Mm-hmm. So if we give them the power to speak by being transparent, it's amazing the information you get from the people, I wouldn't say under you, the people around you who help you grow as a business, what you learn from them because they're the pulse. They're the people that are there each and every day working, right? Doing what they're supposed to based on your vision, but protecting the brand.
For sure.
You know, the thing is that with the whole vision, you have to have people on board with your vision, right? Everybody wants to believe in something, right? And there's people that, like all of us in this room, we know how to build businesses because we believe in what we do. But there are some people that don't believe in anything. So if you have someone like that on your team, but it's still an asset, our job is to wake up every single day and say, this is what you're believing in. You know, this thing is bigger than me and it's bigger than you. And so when they come in, they feel like they're building something with you. If they don't feel like they're building it with you, then they're not part of it. So they can care less. Those are the people that want to, it's 5 o'clock, I got to go home. But when someone feels like they're building something, they're not going to look at the time. They're going to be like, how can we get this done? And the most important part to understand, and you said this earlier, is that if people start looking at short term, when is my investment coming back? Like I want to check tomorrow. Yeah. Those aren't the people we want to be partners with. We have to tell people, listen, this is going to take 10 years. Okay. And if you want to feel better about it, it's going to take 5 years, 7 years. But if you go into it thinking like that, then it gives you that breathing room to say, okay, I have 10 years to make this. It's going to happen regardless. If people think it's overnight successes are overnight, they're not. They take 10 years. So during those 10 years, as you hold on to your vision, it gets shortened. You know, you do things that took 5 years, you do it in 2. Yeah. You know, and that's the magic, the seemingly magic of it. It's not. It's us. We're making it happen by staying on the vision. And that's the other thing. The other thing about visions is what you were talking about earlier, is that the vision is going to keep moving forward as long as someone has their attention on that goal, right? So whether it's one partner or 6 partners, if there's somebody that gets up every single day and says, I believe that this has already happened, right? Everything that's been created is already created. There it is. This is the business that's already done. That's my vision. If on my way from here to that vision to make it a physical reality, I'm on my way there, and someone on the team no longer believes in that vision, they're busy looking over here at something else because maybe they want their check tomorrow or maybe they don't believe that we're going to make it, those people fall off. Yeah. And unfortunately, that's what happens in relationships. It happens with your friends. It happens with your family. It happens with your business. But the business is an entity. It's alive. And as long as someone has their attention on that vision, that thing is going to come to life, whether that person is there or not. Right? It's when all of us say, all right, I don't believe in this thing, that the vision tanks. Yeah. That's where the point of failure is actually the point of failure. Sure.
Right. That's where it comes to life.
Yeah. Right. I think about our business and our journey as in eras, right? It was the beginning in 2005, Alex, the partnership with his father-in-law, Fajardo. They're the founders of JBS. And then 10 years later, when I came in, that was an era. Louis, when he came in, our Dario, when he was here, our cousin, he opened up his own firm in Haverhill. He's back with us now. And then I came in. We had Fausto, who has his own firm now as well. We had then Rob, and all these different eras. We faced the same exact feelings, the same exact decision making. We didn't do the same thing. We weren't at the same revenue levels or the same profit levels. But you start having these issues at these different points in growth, and you know, from a staffing perspective, or even as a partner now. But when I was an employee, I always felt like this was mine, right? I didn't care what the S Corp K1 said. I didn't care what the profit sharing was. I said, this is my business. I'm going to carry myself like this is mine. It's not just Alex's. I'm a stakeholder in this.
Right.
Like if this does well, I do well. My family grows. If this business grow, I grow as a person. If this business has the ability to hire other people, I can learn from those other people. And that attitude really drove the business in a way that, pre-kids and pre-marriage, I was able to work 14, 16, 17 hours, 7 days a week, and really grow with Alex and really stick it out. And we'll be the only ones in the small office in South. And we will do 3,500, 4,000 tax returns and really like hustle, right? And then understanding that, that's not sustainable. Understanding that we're growing, understanding that we have other people around, and really probably last year, the first year where we said, we have a team, we should use it. Like, whoa, really? Like you should use the people that are getting paid to do this, that actually want the work, that actually want to grow and learn. And that was the game changer. Because I think after the split with our partners, we had some time where we couldn't really quite figure out the staffing model. We had this building, we have all this space, and we said, all right, we're going to put some people in the middle. They're going to do some data collection, and then we're going to fan out. They're going to go into an office, and it just didn't work, right? We were actually creating a bottleneck.
But that was learning your business.
And it was learning the business, right? Doing the same thing we tell our clients. It's like, what's not working? Let's look at the financial statements. Let's look at this. Let's look at that. And we weren't doing it for ourselves because we were too busy providing this new service. And until we sat down and said, something's broken, and we need to sit down as owners and figure this out. Rob took the initiative as CEO and said, we can't do what we were doing, right? You guys were in charge. Alex was the CEO. I was a manager at the time. And I think we were the perfect leaders for the shift, right? For the old guard, new guard shift. Mm-hmm. Once that was done, we needed a new leader to step in and say, all right, this is the strategy now. These are the goals, midterm, long-term goals. This is what we have to do. These are the folks that have to get put on pips because they're not performing to their best abilities. They don't see the vision. And thankfully, most, if not all, are right back where we were pre-split, right?
But you were being honest with yourself.
100%. And with everyone else.
That's the important thing. That's what people don't understand. You have to sit and be honest with what have we done and where are we, right? Did we make decisions that were not in line with our vision? Because we do. Sometimes we'll make a decision and we think it's right, or we won't even discuss it. We'll just make that decision and run with it. And that's where the trouble starts, right? Because there's no communication. There's no open space for you to say, what about this? How we do it this way? So it's that part that you guys were comfortable enough to do that, because there's businesses that we know that they just completely fall apart. They collapse. And then you look from the outside in saying, what happened? Why are they not there anymore? Scary. And it's amazing how, just that one moment of reflection, of honesty to say, this is not working. Where do we go from here?
Letting down your guard, just understanding like the only way to fix this is communicating. And sometimes working with family or friends or people you care about, the communication piece, instead of being better, is worse. And we see that in relationships that sometimes don't work. And they say, it's not the love, it's the communication over time where it was lacking. And now we're just not in love. I love you, but I'm not in love. It's like, no, you just didn't work at it the right way. You weren't talking to each other. And that's I think that was a big piece. Because I sometimes I think, we have our moments when we're like, imagine if we would have stuck together as a team and we could have grown so much faster. That's the messed up part. But the remaining team, we can't think on that and dwell on it. We can have our moments and say, man, that would have been crazy. Saying that a team of 6 partners was able to do this in Lawrence and in Methuen, because now we're seeing the rewards and we're like, wow, 2 more years. If we just could have figured out that communication piece, we just weren't communicating. We couldn't say the things that we could say now to each other because we cared about each other in a way that we didn't want to hurt feelings. Right. We didn't want to say the truth. And that ended up being the worst, right? Or maybe the best. I don't know. We're seeing that it was the best for what's happening.
But Michael's growing his business. I'm sure what he used to do before when he started is completely different. And his team and with his wife and the team that he's built around him and the partnerships he's created, the conversations are there. They're real. Mm-hmm. Okay, here we are. This is what we're looking to do. This is the vision that I feel is necessary for our organization. How does everybody feel about it? It's a process, and you have to be honest with yourself. That's when you said earlier that it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody, and that's okay. If it's not for you, it's okay. Just be truthful to yourself that if you're going to walk into owning your own business or starting your business because that's what you feel, you're going to go through processes that you're not going to be comfortable with. And you have to be in the uncomfortable space to learn and to grow.
Yeah, for sure.
It's important too that when you open a business, understanding that you have to know each role of your business, and a lot of people don't understand that. I'm just going to hire this guy because he's a numbers guy. I'm going to understand, hire this guy because he understands storage or whatever it is, right? But what we've learned over the years is that we've had our hand in every single piece of the business. So there's no one that I hire that can say, well, it's easy for you to say because you've never done this.
Yeah.
No, listen, I've done it. Yeah. I understand it. And this is why I want you to do it this way. 100%. So, and that's all part of the pain, the growth, right? Mm-hmm. Is understanding your business. And when you don't, the communication falls apart. Because how can you tell somebody to do something that you don't understand,
for sure.
Right? And then
that you've never tried.
And that you've never tried, even attempted. So the thing is that when the communication falls apart, be ready for your business to fall apart, because the communication is daily. And the communication it's very easy. It comes through body language. It comes through people repeating certain little phrases that you're listening, but you're not listening. Listen, because they're saying something, right? Actions that they're taking, and even auras. All right, so people come in, you're feeling something. If you listen to that feeling, because there's a communication breakdown happening somewhere inside the building, and you got to get on top of that immediately. And I had to learn that recently. I took over at the daycare center as a communicator. So I before, my role was a little more laid back in the background, right? But I've stepped up to be able to realize who's who, what the roles are, what they're doing, and what needs to be said and done to keep the communication transparent and clear, because a lot of people are afraid to do that, and that's what you were saying earlier. If you're afraid to be transparent, that's a world of problems that you're opening up, right? You have to be transparent, because the minute somebody doesn't trust you because they think you're hiding something, that's when they start assuming in their own head, and they start making up stories in their own mind that aren't even real. They're having conversations with you at home. Toby's this, and Toby's going to say that, and then I'm going to say this. Yeah. And then by the time they get to you, they have all this hostility and all this stuff pent up from what? You didn't even say a word, right? But if I were to come to you and say, hey, Toby, this is what I've been feeling. And you're like, oh, really? So let's do this about it. And it's like nothing what I was thinking. Yeah. That creates problems. So communication is just so key in relationships across the board, right? Family, friends, business. It's just so important.
Yeah, it's been great to feel the shift. It's been great to feel us coming in as the community, like the JBS community, because although we have folks spread out, Atlanta, Connecticut, Colombia, sometimes Rob is always in Boston or in Connecticut with his family. I think we're closer more now than ever. We're clear in the message to clients and to ourselves and to our partners and everything. We understand that we need all of us in order to make sure this mission is done, and we respect. We have utmost respect now of each other's and our roles and responsibilities, and that's something that was big. You said roles. For years, we never wrote down the role and responsibilities attached to that. You just did anything that needed to be done.
Yeah, exactly. And you just came to work.
Todólogo.
Yeah,
just go and do. Mm-hmm. And until we started doing that, folks were like, oh, I had no idea that was the expectation. It's like, now, and I'll give you that time to figure that out and step into that role the right way, but you can do it, right? It's just now expected of you to do this consistently and do your job.
Sure.
And then if you want to do something other than that, on top of that, great, right? And that's what we've been seeing now, where people are going above and beyond their roles and responsibilities, again, like we used to. But it took writing it down. It took really facing those issues head on, and really understanding that we kind of have to get our head out of the business a little bit and work on it, not work in it as much. And that's hard to do when you've done it for 10 years, and in my case, and Alex for 20 years, and understanding that you have to let the team rock. You assembled this team for a reason. And, that's why when Will said this morning, like years past, if you would have said, like, I know you guys are busy around this time of year, do we need to reschedule? I'm like, nah, office is pretty clear. Because now that everyone has that,
you wouldn't be able to do this.
Oh, no.
A couple of years ago.
Nope.
And I get it. I mean, this is a busy season. It's a busy season for everybody.
Yeah.
But ultimately, in your field, it is. And I said, hey, maybe you're busy. Maybe something's come up. And the fact that you were like, no, I'm good.
No, I'm good to go.
That's a testament to what you're building. And that's, that gives you. it's not that we're taking more time off. It's time to do the things we love, right? And also time to learn and do other things and explore other options. You know, be in a podcast, give information, provide depth of these businesses, in depth of what we do, so that people look at us and say, man, they're real.
Yeah. I feel it.
Right.
I it's not just a gimmick. They're not just saying it to say it. This is really who they are, right? And sometimes you can't feel that because not everybody's our client. This is just a means or a medium to be able to speak to other people about businesses or about, you know, how to engage with your employees or what have you. But people can start saying, like, I've heard about those guys, and they're actually really saying, like, practicing what they preach. And not just saying it to say it or doing it just to, you know, get a quick buck. Like this, we have history of being able to do these things and giving the right advice, of not steering people the wrong way. And it's paying dividends. Yeah. Thankfully, you know what I mean? We are figuring it out as we go and as we're scaling.
That's the fun part about it. It really is. It's been fun for me to figure out what I can do to help people. And I realized quickly that people want to work with me because they like me and trust me. Right? There's a level of trust, and perhaps we have some commonality in things that are not just business related. There could be an idea or a thought or something that we both share. It could be a hobby. Like, I'm meeting more people in my business now as my business has changed, where it's people that I can actually talk about other things that are not just real estate and buying a house and selling a house and stuff. So it's shifted my business so that I enjoy it more. Because I'm meeting people that I want to connect with. Yeah. You want to buy and sell with me? Great. But there's a connection that we have that I enjoy spending my time with you, talking about those topics, laughing, whatever, doing something fun and an activity. I think that's the role that we play as humans, is how do we balance what we do that we really love, but what about the other things that we really love, and how much time do we have time to do it?
I think for both, I think I could say that about myself, but I have a feeling that it didn't matter if it was real estate or soaps or or a daycare center or an event space. You are you no matter what. You could have been in a completely different space, and the mission was always going to be, I want to help people. I want to make sure that I get people from point A to point B. Could have been at T-Mobile, or it could have been at the jobs that we're in now, or the businesses that we operate out of now. And that's not always the case. It's rare sometimes, and it's good to see that in our communities and see people of color that are about that life, that are like, yo, I'm not shifting who I am because I've gained some success in these businesses, or because people see that or give me some of these accolades or fame or what have you locally. I'm still me. I still want to help you get to be your best self. And, you know, those are the people that truly win, because it's not really the dollars. That you need money, right? That's another thing that people are like, it's not about the money. It's also about the money. Like, don't get it twisted. We need to make sure that we build something for our families.
You work hard, and you should be compensated based on your service.
But really, the true value that you get from this is helping folks get to point A, point B, point C, and connecting them to folks like yourselves. So, you know, I really appreciate the conversation. Thank you. I'd like to have y'all back with Rob. Rob couldn't do it today, but have you back where, you know, Rob is a numbers person. Yeah. So that day he might want to talk about numbers. If you don't feel comfortable, you tell him, these are the numbers I don't want to talk about. But he likes to say, like, you know, so
what do you think?
What's a person that, you know, starts out makes and starts out?
I love the connection with Rob. I remember meeting Rob years ago and saying to myself, this kid's going to be some interesting dude. And he was, you know, just his demeanor, his how he tackles topics. It seems like he does a lot of research. And he wants to find things out. He wants to get into the nitty gritty of a conversation or a topic. So I'd be happy to see him.
Yeah, he's a cool dude, family man. Yep. He's the CEO of JBS and a partner. He for fun, he likes to read about economics. So that tells you a lot about what his passion is, and what he'd like to do is be a little part of changing the way economics is viewed and how it works in the United States of America, which is a very, very tall ask. So that's his dream.
But him educating people on that is by far going to be his best asset.
100%.
Because people need it.
And talking about support, right? Our wives, we support them, they support us. And us as partners, as his family members, you know, he has some lofty goals that are damn near impossible when you hear it, like some folks hear it. But for us, we're like, you know, he'd had a moment this weekend where he texted us like, I don't know if this is going to be great, but I'm doing the work. I'm reading a ton. I'm rereading books that I've read years ago. And I'm like, I don't know where this is coming from, these thoughts, but I 100% believe that this is going to bring value to our people, value to the world, and get you to the place and make you happy, truly happy, because that's your dream. So I think that conversation is going to be a dope one just because he's so numbers oriented.
Yep.
And I think he's going to kind of push y'all a little bit for your respective jobs and gigs.
That.
But it'll be a cool one.
I'll give a shameless plug to our podcast, The Vibe You're In.
Yes, sir.
We are not on video yet, but it's The Vibe You're In. You can catch it anywhere, where any podcast is heard. Michael, tell them what the show's all about.
The show that we have is all about two guys having conversations that encourage the discipline of purposeful thinking, which is what we've done here today.
Right.
I want to say that you dropped a gem on your audience, viewers and listeners, that you were saying the most important thing is that you think you're going to go into a business by yourself, and your affirmation might say, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have this business. No, your affirmation should be that you are building a solid team, because you're going to end up needing one, and you're going to end up needing to know how to lead this team if you want to be successful. I thought that was amazing. And thank you again for allowing us to be here.
No, thank you. This is awesome.
And we can't wait to sit down with Rob.
Yeah, it's gonna be that'll be a fun one. I can't wait to be behind the scenes and doing some edits, maybe cutting things live, but it'll be a fun one.
Yeah,
hopefully I'll be on yours. I feel like this conversation felt more like your vibe. Maybe you guys just inspired me somehow to just kind of have that conversation that way.
We'll have you come on board.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun with it. Depends on the night. But we have a good time, and we get into a lot of good conversation.
Hopefully, if it's drinking involved, hopefully I won't drink too much, and you won't have to do a lot of cuts.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
It stays pure. And for someone that says that you're just behind the scenes, I don't believe it, because
no, you did really that.
You're
really
pretty
good.
amazing.
So I'm not. Doing. I put myself there. Rob
is that the space that you think you are comfortable in?
No. I'm very comfortable in front of the camera. The reels that I'm doing are projecting that and showing that, even though I still use a script and all these different things, I come across very natural because I do know the topics. I do care about the message I'm sending out. I've been told forever, you should work in radio, you should do comedy, TV, mostly comedy. That's what people say I should do. Which I think I might do a pop-up.
No way.
In April after tax season.
Let us know.
I might do an open mic.
I
threw it out there just to mess around, but I think people are now saying well, now you have to do it because you told me. Well,
you've already it's already out there.
It's going to be out in 2 weeks now.
We'll assemble your own personal applause.
The applause section. You're going to have to disperse just so it feels natural.
And loud laughter.
Yeah. And that last.
I was I just said my name, guys.
Yeah.
And the last trailing applause in the back.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. We look forward to that.
Yeah. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Feel free to use the space as your own, right? If you need extra space to kind of hang out and do your thing. If you want to start using this equipment for yourselves as you start messing around with the video podcast stuff, it's just, I love podcasts in general.
Yeah.
The audio ones I can do when I'm driving, but if I want to watch something, I want to watch something. I like to see people's facial reactions. I like to see, I want to see who you are.
Sure.
And I think you guys are going to kill it.
Thank you.
The content is there.
We just need the video
piece might give you a little extra boost, and people.
We'll consider it. We'll probably come here. We just need a tutorial how to use the equipment.
Yeah.
But I was comfortable in the space. It's just understanding our show and how we, project it and ultimately be able to just do one shot of it.
All right, so we'll do this. If I'm gonna be doing comedy, you have to do a video podcast.
That's it.
April is the timeline for both of us. We'll see how it works.
That's easy for us.
That's light work.
Awesome.
All right, y'all.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Take care.
All right.